Welcome back to Morning Drive. As alongside Paige, Mackenzie, I'm delighted to welcome in LPGA Tour winner and 2019 European Solheim Cup star Bronte Law. Bronte, it is wonderful to see you and hear that you and the family are doing well during this time. But just to get a gauge as to what life is like for you right now, because obviously the UK are going through a pretty tough time at the moment during lockdown, notably golf courses are still closed. Is this holding you back from any practice or anything working on your game that you'd like to be doing, or is that just not really the priority right now?
Yeah, the UK have had pretty strict lockdown measures put in place, so obviously that does make it difficult to, continue life as it was. But obviously the health and welfare of the country is more important, really, than golf is. So, understandably, they've closed golf courses, and they're trying to keep us as isolated in our homes as possible. But I'm lucky that I have a gym that I can work out in. I've been going for runs using my one form of exercise a day that we're allowed to go out and do that, and also have like a little practice area in the garden that I can use chipping. I have a net, and also can hit up to an 8-iron, which I don't think many people are lucky enough to be able to utilize that. So can't really complain too much. Making the most of the time of my family that I don't usually get, and just trying to see the positives, in this time that's obviously very new, and nobody really knows how to prepare for when the tournaments do start up again. So yeah, just really trying to stay positive. I think obviously it's easy to wonder when we're going to get back, and instead of focusing on that, just using the time to really better myself.
Yeah, it sounds like you're using the time and getting creative with practice, and in a small way, it is a little bit bittersweet seeing family that bit more. But the LPGA does pride itself on being such a global tour. Do you think there will be a sense of disadvantage for countries like the UK who have been going through firmer restrictions?
I don't know. I guess we won't know until all the tournaments start up again. But I would like to think that certainly there's definitely a need for a break that we hadn't really had as much this year. The tour started up again mid-January, so this year was probably the shortest off season that I've ever had. And so now I'm really just using this time to pinpoint things that I would like to work on. Whether that's personally in life, or workouts, or short game, just pinpointing certain areas. It might be the mental side of the game, and write those things down and really work on those right now. So I really don't think that it will put me at too much of a disadvantage, because I think that I'm working on stuff that necessarily isn't on the golf course, that definitely will benefit me on the golf course in the long run.
Well, you certainly had great trajectory coming into this season, notching your first win on the LPGA Tour last year after a close call at the Mediheal earlier in the season. What did you learn about yourself through that need to finally get that first win?
I think the Sunday at Mediheal, I learned more than I probably ever have in my career. And it's that you can come from anywhere in the field, really, and when you least expect, to put yourself in a position with a chance to win. So there's a reason they're 4-day tournaments and not one. And I think that just showed me that exactly. And going on in the future, and through the remainder of that year, I really stuck by that, and showed that with ultimately a lot more good performances because of that mindset.
It was certainly an incredible win at Pure Silk, and then moving on to the Solheim Cup later in the year. Can you describe kind of the emotions that you went through in that event? I know a lot of eyeballs were on you because you performed so well in match play, and perhaps got off to a little slow start just having matches early in the week, but ultimately getting one of the most pivotal points at the very end of the Solheim Cup.
Yeah, it was an incredible event that I've always, loved watching, and definitely knew that I wanted to be a part of it. And ultimately, when I got there, I didn't really know what I was going to experience or how I was going to feel, but the feelings that I had stepping onto the first tee the first day was like nothing I've ever experienced in my whole life. And the pride that I had representing Europe, and knowing that I was a strong match player really was something that I fell back on a lot, and had to remind myself of constantly throughout the week. And I just really enjoyed the whole experience, and really look forward to being a part of many in the years to come.
Bronte, it's something that we learned very quickly about you is that you thrive off that intensity of the crowds at the Solheim Cup. When we look ahead to this year and we think about the prospect of possibly the Ryder Cup and other big tournaments going ahead without the crowds, where do you sit on that?
Yeah, I definitely vibe a lot off the crowd and really enjoy, playing in front of them. I think maybe people used to call me a bit of a show off because I would always play better when there was more people watching. But I think equally when there's cameras around, ultimately you're not just playing in front of the people there, you're playing in front of whoever's watching on TV. So in my mind, and I'm sure in the mind of a lot of other players, you'll just be thinking about, the viewership from home. And I think it's even more important almost to have that interaction and that feeling like you're playing in front of other people, because if fans and spectators aren't allowed to come, there'll be even more watching on TV. So it's almost our job if, we go back to work earlier than, expected, and when people are still, in a lot of cases at home and not able to get out as much, that we do our part and, provide the entertainment value. And that's something that I really enjoy doing. And, hopefully we'll be playing well to where I can do that.
We would all love to see that, Bronte. But it was wonderful to catch up, and we're so glad that you're doing well, and we can't wait to see you back out there later in the year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.